Hi, how are you? My name is Brian. I am the author of the book Family Traveling the World. It's currently available on blurb.com. I learned a lot of items and tricks during my 2.5 years of travel with my family, and I was just here to share a couple excerpts from my book so that maybe they'll be of some help to you. This item or this section of the book is called How to Save Money While Traveling. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll just kind of go over some brief points that I touch on in the book. Number one, look for deals and negotiate whenever possible. So what does this mean? Obviously, that's what we all should be looking for, right? That most people do already, but where should you look? So search online for discounted or free days at museums, amusement parks, and other attractions. Check for promo codes, coupons, and other discounts online or on flyers in hotels or other tourist stops along your way during your travels. Many places offer military discounts, teacher or student discounts, AAA, it's called AAA sometimes, AARP, Good Sam discounts, or savings for being from the same local city or state. So if you are a member of any of these groups like AAA, or if you have a student or teacher ID, military ID, show these things when you come and ask the place when you show up. If you don't already know, hey, do you have any discounts available for these things? And a lot of times you'd be surprised. They'll offer anywhere from 5 to 10% discount in most cases, but I've received even bigger discounts than that in numerous occasions. And there's usually discounts for children, senior citizens, and there's other savings if you arrive in large groups many times. So if you're in a group, ask if there's some type of group discount. Usually that needs to be 10 to 12 people though for that to occur. If you're buying admission tickets at the ticket booth, don't be shy to talk about, what discounts they have. Like I mentioned, beyond those ideas, sometimes if you arrive later in the day, sometimes maybe an hour to 3 hours before they close, maybe like at an amusement park or something, there often will be discounted prices for admission. So yes, you have less time in the park, but that's exactly why they offer a cheaper price. Same thing goes for museums sometimes. So just, please ask if you get a chance. You can also sign up for free memberships, by giving the company your email address. They'll send you maybe like a newsletter. Sometimes they'll put promo codes or other discounts in their own promotional emails. So that's a good option. Also, of course, there are other sites like Groupon, Living Social that offer their own specialty discounts. Even if you pay a full price but were unhappy with your experience, speak to the management. Sometimes these companies have customer service is above everything, and they are willing to offer some type of discount or lowered rate for basically customer satisfaction. Now, I won't keep going on that, but basically, just so you know, I have personally saved probably well over $1,000 using student IDs, AAA, and other discounts like this. So take advantage because it does add up. It may only be $5 to $10 at a time, but eventually those $5 to $10 every time, really start getting up there. Number two, look for free events, cheap food, and free or cheap places to stay. So where should you start? Most cities have free websites online to advertise what events are coming up year-round. Also, of course, through social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. There are a lot of listings online for events, and a lot of them are run by the cities. There's often free newspapers and magazines doing the same thing, especially if you are around maybe gas stations, hotels, things like that. Okay, beyond that, these events usually often will have like free giveaways. Maybe there's sponsor booths. So the sponsors, these booths want to grab the people's attention. So their way of getting you to come over to their booths is by giving you something for free. Maybe it's candy, maybe it's something for kids, maybe it's a pen or some type of promotional item with their name on it. All that stuff's for free. When it comes to buying cheap food, of course, the idea is not to buy it at the most expensive places. Don't go to the amusement park and purchase the most expensive food if you're trying to save money. Now, you could, of course, eating in advance before showing up. You could often buy pre-cooked meals at supermarkets if you're out of town, and basically, do it that way so you don't have to worry about cooking your own food. Of course, you could pick up something else along your route. I was good at eating or like finding like Airbnbs where I could cook at the places I was staying, and that way I could have food to bring with me wherever I went, like pastas, rice, you name it. In regards to cheaper places to stay, there's, especially if you're traveling alone or maybe with one other person, you can consider websites like Couchsurfing. It's a free service where you're staying at a stranger's house, and it may be free, but there's kind of like a selection process to it. They can say yes or no to as many or as few people as they want, and usually it's courteous to cook dinner or do something nice for them, buy groceries, something like that, should you go that option. Of course, there's hostels, there's other discounts available if you look for those things. Number 3, you can start a small business or find someone who will offer you an opportunity to volunteer and/or a paying job. During my travels, I volunteered in basically part of a reforestation project in Tana, Ecuador. It was in the Amazon rainforest. There was a section that's in Ecuador itself, and it was kind of like a yoga meditational retreat type of thing, and it included like room and board as long as I worked at least 4 hours a day as part of the project. I did have to pay a little bit of money towards staying there, like $15 a day or something, but obviously much cheaper than a hotel or even an Airbnb. And I got to be part of a group, got to be on site, met a lot of new people from all around the world. So you can look for these type of volunteer opportunities too, if and when you're doing your travels. Now, number 4, plan your travels to avoid visiting the most famous places at the busiest times of the year. Of course, sometimes this may be unavoidable. You have kids out of school in the summer. You may only have certain, 3-day weekends to use to do short trips. So I totally get that. And I was the same way for many years until I was able to stop working for a while and use my time to travel the world. However, just so you know, of course, if you're visiting the places at the most popular times of the year, you're going to pay more. And that's across the board for hotels, for anything. So if you plan your trip on a way to go to cheaper countries, maybe some parts of Asia, maybe some parts of the Caribbean, things along those lines, you can basically make your dollar or your currency of your country last longer and go further. For airplanes and for cheaper flights, I'll often use Google Flights and Skyscanner to see a wide range of airline company schedules and prices all at one time in order to find the best prices. There's another site called Momondo that looks to be good. There are various multi-flight options. But so if you are booking, a bunch of flights, trying to do that you're traveling from country to country and you're trying to book everything all in one giant booking, a lot of times you're going to pay extra on those. So you may have to book things separately so you can compare and contrast on times and dates to get the cheaper prices. Then, of course, there's other fees that you may not realize, especially when you go on cruises. There'll often be port fees and taxes, and of course tips, which are not included when you pay the initial payment. So those are extra things, especially when it comes to tips. And of course on the cruise you may purchase other items there, and those are obviously additional charges and where a lot of people get in trouble. Number 5, focus more on quality traveling over quantity. Now granted, I've focused a lot on quantity, but a lot of times if you're not bouncing around from place to place so much, you will save money and perhaps have a more fulfilling experience staying in one place for a lengthier period of time. Maybe get to know the area better, get to meet people. But to each their own on that, but it is a way to save money.